Hey guys. Now I know, it's been a very long time since I've made a model review, or really any model related video, and that's really only of the time that I'm making this. I mean, if you're watching this after I've just put up like 5 different model reviews, that might be different, but as of now, which is January 8th, 2013. It's been a while since I've made a model review, and I want to apologize for that, but I'm also going to take this opportunity to make one. So, as you can clearly see, this is quite obviously going to be a review of the Norscot Caterpillar 420E backhoe loader. Now, before I get into the review or anything, I want to point out something about this specific model, and when I say specific, I mean this singular one right here, is that if you notice, and I'll bring the boom up a little bit so it's at better camera height, and this version, I don't know if it's gonna really focus on that or what the deal is, but anyway, this version has the yellow bucket. Now, I know some of the newer versions have a black bucket, so that's a little variation on this model that I've noticed, but this happens to be the one with the yellow bucket. I also received this model in the time that Norscot was having the distributing issue, so that might be another reason why I got an older version of the model, and I don't know if I said this or not, but I think the blacker one, the ones with the black buckets, are the newer ones. So that's a little variation on the model. Now anyway, another thing you may notice is I have 2 separate piles right here. Well, one is a pile and one is a singular piece. This pile right here is attachments. These all came with the specific model, or not specific, just with the model. They come with the model, and this is something you have to assemble on the model. And I'll get into that in greater detail. I'll get into both in greater detail in just a moment. But first, I want to give you guys a 360 of the model, and like I said, I'm sorry it's been a while, and I know a lot of people have requested a review of this model because it was the last model I got. It's the latest one as of the time I'm making this video again, and so and it's been a while, so you know, I was excited to make a review of this one finally. So with that said, I'm going to get into greater detail with the model. Alright, now I've turned the model to this side, and now I'm going to show you the assembly of the model. Remember this little piece right here that I showed you? Well, here's a little bit better look at it. I don't know that this is really going to focus on it, but I'm not going to spend forever trying to get it. I think it's partially the lighting, so I don't know. Anyway, it's that piece. It's pretty obvious. Now, what you want to take note on is the shape of the bottom. You can see it's got this kind of half circle shape that juts out from the bottom of the piece. And if you look right here on your model, will be a hole in a shape that will match that of the shape on the bottom of this piece. And what you're going to do is you're going to align them, fit it in right there, alright, and when you're done, the part with the colors should face forward. Now, I've heard a couple different answers for what this thing is. To be honest, I'm not positive, but I've heard, the most common answer I've heard is some sort of GPS device, or some device that helps you align the bucket, and you know, when you're digging and stuff. That type of GPS, not necessarily like when you're driving on the roads, but I'm really not sure. You guys in the comments can give me what you think for an answer, you know, if you guys know, or if you guys have a good guess, whatever, I'm happy to hear. So anyway, that's about it for assembly. for those of you that are wondering about how to assemble the attachments or use the quick coupler, I'll get to that when I do the function section. But that's it for the assembly section of the review, and I'm going to get into the detail now. Okay, so for the detail, we're going to start out in the front of the model. Probably the most notable thing of the front would, of course, be your bucket. There's nothing too special about it, and like I mentioned earlier, this is the yellow bucket, so it's got your Caterpillar yellow color. That rivet right there is because this is a 4-in-1 bucket, and I'll get into further detail with that and explain it when I get into the function section of the review. There's a look at your quick coupler mechanism, and I'll show you how to use that again in the function section. And if we flip it over, you know, there's nothing too special about it. As far as the boom and the arms, you know, you have your 420E logo there. And that red bar right there, which, sorry it's not quite focused. I don't know if I can fix that or not. Anyway, that red bar right there is so that you can lock the boom in an upward position if you're working on it, so it's not to collapse on you. Before I get too far down the side of the machine, I do want to show the front grille right there, and the lighting in here is a little poor. I'm not doing this in my regular review spot, so I don't have my big bright lights shining on it like I normally would, but if I bring it up right about there, you can see that it's etched in but not all the way out, and of course your big cat logo there. Up here also is your exhaust. And while we're in front, you can see your Caterpillar logo on the front of the cab. And if you have a license, these things are street legal, so that's your headlights and your turn signals. Coming back down here, there's your step up to the cab, and there's your a cap of some sort. Not sure what that would be, if it's fuel, hydraulic oil, what. But I'd be willing to bet fuel. I have seen a New Holland backhoe, and I know that the fuel cap was back here, so I'm not quite sure if it's just a different design or if that is a cap for something else. I'm not too good with that stuff. Alright, so now I'll show inside the cab. So it's kind of hard to see, but you have a seat, a steering wheel, and some joysticks. And the glass is... it might be better. Yeah, there we go. Put it against the white. And you do have some levers back there for the rear of the machine. And also there's a handrail here and one on the opposite side. Almost forgot the tires. First of all, have a pretty nice tread pattern. And let me take a minute to see if they're plastic or rubber. It's kind of hard to tell on these things sometimes. Yeah, it's really hard to tell sometimes. They have a little bit of flexibility, so they might be rubber, but they also could be that really soft plastic. So there's the hub cap of your smaller tire in front, and in the back, your bigger one. Alright, moving to the back, these are your outriggers or stabilizers, whatever you want to call them. You know, your simulated padding, but it's just metal, painted black. Speaking of metal, the majority of this machine is metal, which is pretty nice. But there's not too many details that stick out from the main casting, which is probably the reason behind that. And, you know, your other one on the other side. Here's up in back of the cab, you have your reversing lights, your brake lights, you know, things of that nature. Here's the rear of your machine. or the rear functioning section, you have, and unfortunately, knocking over this weird GPS thing over here, unfortunately a pretty noticeable rivet for the turning point there, and your cylinders look nice, and they also have great function, which I'll get to in a minute. Your cat logo there and some decent detail. Reminds me, on top of the cab, some nice bolt detail there as well. Alright, for your rear bucket, first of all, on back, it's flat, nothing. I don't think I can get it to focus. The wrong kind of lighting and just a couple of factors. But, you know, your standard 5-tooth, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. So your standard 5-tooth bucket. A little bit of cutting edge there, maybe. Not really. It's pretty simple. And if you look up, and there goes your GPS thing. You might want to glue that on there. Just a suggestion. But, right under there, simulated lines coming down, and that might have to do with a little bit of your extend-to-hoe function, which I'll get into, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not too good with these things. All your linkage and everything of that nature. The other side is pretty much identical to what I showed you. All around this model looks pretty nice, and it looks slick, new. You know, it's got a nice feel to it. In terms of looks, I don't know if that really made much sense, but speaking of feel, I'll get into functions now. So that's it for detail, but yeah. Okay, so for your functions, I'll start out in front. First of all, your boom raises that high, which is a little unfortunate when trying to load trucks. Here, I'll back it up a little bit more. And your bucket curls in about that high, which is pretty unfortunate. But if you do leave it in this upward position, and that's how high the bucket curls up, by the way. But if you do leave it in a upward position like this, you can use your 4-in-1 feature. The 4-in-1 feature is basically, it goes up, down, and curls, no. Yeah, no, so the bucket curls in and out. And this opens and closes. I think I'm really bad with this, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah. So here's your main significant feature of the 4-in-1 bucket is that opens. Give you a real quick look at the detail there. And you can see it's got a little bit of teeth right there, so it can clamp down on stuff if you want it to. But that's why there was that pretty visible rivet there. I don't know. You guys can kind of tell. I'm sorry. And, alright, so for the attachments in front now, to take the bucket off, really, what you do is slide up. It's pretty simple to put it on. You see the shape of that, how it's got the 2 hooks. Well, the quick coupler's got 2 bars up there. And you slide the 2 hooks on, alright? Slide the 2 hooks on and push inward and it snaps into place. So to go up, you push out a little bit and then up, but you can just go up and it works as well. So there's 2 attachments for the front of this machine. The first one is your forks. Now the unfortunate thing is the actual forks of it that would lift the pallets are plastic, and they don't have any function, and they're very flexible and can break very easily. There's basically it. Actually, everything on this piece is plastic except for this back part that connects to the quick coupler. You know, these aren't going to really support a heavy load at all, which is unfortunate because they look nice, and if they actually worked, it would be pretty cool. So those go on the way I just showed you the bucket does, except they're going to be difficult. And now the back bucket is popping off, but of course. So yeah, you want to stick those in, make sure they're down all the way, and there you go. Notice that the attachments are black as well. That's how it looks on the... You can see that's popping out right there. That's because they're very, very flimsy. The second attachment for the front is this loading crane or lifting crane. It doesn't really have a hook or anything. That's the way it came, at least for my model. The good thing about this is it is metal. I'm tempted to say metal. I think it's got plastic. This piece is plastic. But I think the interior links are metal. Maybe. I don't know. I take back what I said. I guess they are plastic. It feels kind of cold for some reason, but... So anyway, yeah, this extends. That's the whole purpose of the crane, you know. Once again, it will not focus. There you go. And you can thread some stuff through there if you want. Here's how it looks on the front of the backhoe. You know. There you go. Take that off. Alright, now to the back. So, back functions are, it raises this high, but it has a lot of play there. It swivels back and forth, like that. Oh, you know what, before I get into that, to use the back, your outriggers have to be out. They go down like so, and then these things can flip. That one was a little stuck, but they go basically to ground level. They don't actually lift the machine, but you know, it looks fine. Oops, hit the camera. Alright, there we go. So, outriggers out. Alright. That's what they look like when they're fully extended. So this, like I said, swivels roughly 180 degrees to each side. The stick goes out that much, and the bucket will curl out. The bucket movement is great. Now, in a minute, I'll explain to you why that is a good thing, in just the case that most models you would want that, but for this one it might have a little negative effect. But it does look very nice when you're posed digging. And then it goes down that far in, and the bucket curls in. Now here's the part where it curls in a lot. Curls in that much. That's really nice. And then it goes down that far. So, roughly your digging depth is about there. Now, there is one more added feature to the back here, besides the quick coupler, and that is your extend-a-hoe feature. That's about it. You know, it extends in and out from that point, and it's a little bit loose, so if you're like me and you're not really going to use it after the purpose of this review, you might want to glue it shut, just so it doesn't keep moving in and out. But if you think you might use it, don't, because you can accidentally glue it completely, and yeah. So let me show you now the functions of the quick coupler and the attachments. So the quick coupler, to take it off, you know, this one's a little loose, so you can kind of just pull it off, but some are a real pain. Here's your attachments. First one is a hydraulic hammer, which is a cat. Now, on the computer, you would be able to read this. If it would focus. I'm not going to waste my time on that. Here, let me try to read it. It's a Cat H70 hammer. So, got some nice detail. There's no, like, spring action in there. But, it's pretty good. And, the way this one works is you slide that piece in, you know. It's just the quick coupler has the, tooth-like thing as opposed to the attachment, and the attachment has the bar, so it's the other way around. And then that piece snaps in there. It might be helpful if you can see, so you guys can probably figure this out. And you snap it back, but this one's a little tough because you can see this is where it's a little bad to have a bucket cylinder that curls in. Since it curls in this far, you can't use the backwards force to unhook that. So the way you have to unhook this one that I find works, and it feels like you might break it, but you put it out just a little bit so it can go just a little farther, and it tends to snap off. This side I feel has a little bit more give, so I'll try it on this side. And it feels like you're going to break it, and I would hate to break it, but it seems to be working, and once it's loosened, it'll come off. Alright. Then the last attachment for the back would be your auger, which is all plastic. It's a bit of a disappointment, and this piece can move for some reason. I don't know if that's a mistake on my model, if it came loose or something, or if it's supposed to do that. If someone could tell me, that would be nice, but yeah, that's the auger. And so, you know, you can place that on there. And whoa, what's going on? Okay, I'm not sure how this works. Am I missing a piece? You know what? I think that I have no clue how an auger works. Hey guys, sorry I got cut off. My camera ran out of memory because I forgot to delete some old videos on it. But I fixed that now. So I was talking about the auger, and you know, here it is. Like I said, it's a little bit flimsy there. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not, but it's nice looking on there, despite the fact that it's all plastic. Anyway, that's about it for the rear functions. One last bit of function that I meant to do first, but didn't realize till I was halfway through the back. Do the old sideways trick. Will that work on the auger? I don't know. I'm really not going to waste my time on this. But I am going to fold up the outriggers and show you the last function, which is the rolling and the steering. So, model rolls very nice on this surface. I mean, it's wheels, so it's going to roll nice no matter what, unless there's something wrong with the wheels. Here's the underside, and there's your steering mechanism. That's about how far it goes to the driver's right, and that's about how far it goes to the driver's left. You can see how it works, and that's it. Virtually no detail on the underside. Actually, if I flip it over, you can read all the copyrights and that fun stuff. So there you go. It's Northcott and made in China and model number and whatnot. So anyway, that's about it. I'm going to try to get this auger off, and then I'll do the closing statement. Alright guys, as you can see, I got the auger off. Bucket on the back, but it was uneven, so gotta fix that. And so I got all the attachments on that would come on the model Mint, and of course this piece that you would have to assemble afterwards, so it's looking complete. So that's about it from the review. Like I said, and like you guys realize and know and whatever, this is the review of the Northcott Caterpillar 420E. This model is manufactured in 1/50th scale, and of course by Northcott. And a little bit of pricing information that I forgot to do in the beginning. Don't remember exactly how much it costed, but I do know I got it off of the website 3000toys.com. Don't know if they're still available, but you can check if you are interested. And yeah, that's really about it. So thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you found anything helpful, you might want to hit the thumbs up button or the like button, and I don't know what they're going to title it in the future, so you know, that rating button. You know, leave a comment. Like I said, if you can answer any of my questions that I stated before, leave a comment. And also any suggestions or things that you enjoyed about the video, leave a comment. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you. And, yeah.